It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I slept in the park for 3 nights, went to the bank that third day, got my first million. What's your excuse? As a man, how could you survive off less than $67 million a month? How? I was 7 years old when I bought my first rental property. I bought it for 4 sticks of gum and a Jolly Rancher from my childhood bully. I flipped that, sold it to Warren Buffett for $6 billion 10 years later. It's ways to get it. You just gotta know the ways. I'm in the bed every night at 8 p.m. and it's rise and shine at 8:15. Because there's no money to be made when you're sleeping. What can you do in slumber? You can't do nothing in slumber. So at 8:15, when I wake up 8:16, I'm looking at real estate listings. Because that's the start of my morning. I'm worth $413 billion and people ask me why I ride the bus. How do you think I stay rich? I just bought my third Ferrari last week and I can't even fit in it. I just bought it just because I got it sitting there. Disposable income. You see the key word in that? Dispose. Throw that money away. A 9 to 5 cool, but I'd rather own my business. I ain't got to clock in. I call off. I just call myself. Hello? I ain't coming in today. All right, sir. We threw food away because that was an expense. We eating crabgrass out the backyard because it grows freely from the earth. Come on, there's ways to get it. You don't get it. But you don't get it. You don't get it.
Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah, every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Maury. Them poor rich kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the good. Good of them assets, good of my bag. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a blast from the past. We gonna smash it. Be prepared to hit the gas, yeah. Build a land.
Peace to the party. It's your homeboy back again with the news. So you know what it is. You see the topics of the day, right? We got to cover the news. So a lot of y'all, you know, you probably, if you're in the black culture, you probably heard of Jay Morris. So he started something a little while back called the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. All right. Had these big dreams, you know, spoke on a lot of big speeches and promises. You feel me? Propped up by a lot of black media. And then now come to find out that the real estate fund is almost bankrupt. So, you know, we had to cover this because when it's time to cover the media, we can't just always talk about, you know, what the other side doing. Sometimes it's our own kind that be a part of these different scams, just straight up calling what it is against the people. You feel me? And it's no coincidence that they get tied in with, you know, a lot of big media interviews, celebrities. You feel me? The church and everything get tied in with them. But, you know, I'm just your homeboy with the news. So y'all, you know what we do. Did a little research, right? So one of the top investors, I think the top investor of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, meaning the person that put up the most of his own money, he put up about 40 bands. So he been tracking the status of this as he should. If you put up 40,000 into something, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be wanting to know what's going on too, right? So pretty savvy brother. You know, I checked out what he was saying, make a lot of sense. So I'll bring it to y'all. I want to know what y'all think. So y'all let me know in the comments. And, you know, hey, for those of y'all who was here the last video, was talking about, you know, the pandemic. They took us up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Straight up blocked the video. But hey, we doing this to just try to spread awareness and information. So this is why. Check down in the comments. I mean, in the description section, you'll see about the Patreon for those of y'all want to tap into a different level. You know what I'm saying? But appreciate all the love y'all been giving. This is why we do this. So this is what we're going to start off with. We're going to take it over here to his name, Julian Gordon. All right, so let me get this pulled up. We're going to talk to Julian Gordon, let him talk to us, and then we're going to come chop it up.
Dear Tulsa Real Estate Fund investors, it is with a heavy heart that I must inform you of the imminent closure of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, also known as TREF. Today, the Legacy Center, which is also known as the Black House, was listed for sale. This is the fulcrum that Jay Morrison has been avoiding because it solidifies the sinking of the Treff Titanic, an embarrassing performance of the fund, and him as its sole manager. Despite our collective hopes and efforts, the fund's financial situation has deteriorated to a point where liquidation is the only viable option. As the lead investor with $40,000 at stake and a fellow real estate developer, I've been closely monitoring the situation and conducting extensive research into the fund's operations, which can all be found at www.tulsarealestatefraud.com. That's tulsarealestatefraud.com. Over the past year, I've made numerous attempts to communicate privately with Jay Morrison, the fund's manager, to address concerns and seek clarity on the fund's status long before it got to this point. However, my requests for meetings were repeatedly ignored, leaving me with no choice but to share my findings publicly to ensure that all 15,000 investors worldwide are informed about the actions of the fund's management. Based on the limited information available from the fund's outdated SEC filings and a recent investor call on April 2, 2024, it has become apparent that Jay Morrison is proceeding with the liquidation of the fund. The decision is a direct result of the fund's near bankruptcy status, driven by mismanagement, excessive operating costs, and questionable investment practices. At his last State of the Union address on August 11, 2023, the fund only had $575,531 in cash, which has likely been depleted by now. The Legacy Center, aka the Black House, which was owned in cash for a better part of the 6 years, was refinanced, which allowed Jay Morrison to extract another $1.5 million from the fund to cover significant operating losses and his sizable management fee. As investors, we must confront the harsh reality of this situation. The probability of recovering our investment capital is exceedingly low, and the fund's remaining assets are insufficient to cover its liabilities. The most egregious violation appears to be the purchase of Jay Morrison's personal residence using the fund's money through an anonymous LLC, as well as a one-sided agreement for the adjacent 27 acres of land which he will personally own and retain for his family when the fund shuts down and cannot act on the fund's right to develop on that land. While the Treff subscription agreement granted Jay Morrison significant control over the fund's operations, it doesn't absolve him of his fiduciary duty to act in the best interest of the investors. The evidence we have compiled strongly suggests that he has violated this duty through self-dealing, misappropriation of funds, and gross negligence. To address these issues, we have filed numerous complaints, hundreds of complaints, with the SEC, or Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. However, the lack of transparency from these agencies has left us uncertain as to whether our concerns are being properly investigated. The DA's office in particular is currently preoccupied with very high-profile cases which may delay any action on our behalf. In terms of our next steps as investors, many people want to do a class action lawsuit. But class action lawsuits are primarily for going up against big companies that have a lot of assets to draw from on their balance sheet. In this instance, family, there are very few assets to recoup in the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, so that would be a waste of time. In light of this, I believe that our best course of action is to mobilize our collective voice and draw attention to our plight. I'm urging all Treff investors to record short videos sharing their stories and experiences with the fund. By posting these videos on social media and tagging the Fulton County DA's office, which is at Fulton County DA, we can put a human face to the thousands of individuals who have been negatively impacted by the situation. If you're willing to join in this effort, please structure your 1 to 2 minute video as follows. 1. State your name, city, and profession. 2. Share how much you invested. 3. Explain why you chose to invest in the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. 4. Express your feelings about the fund's collapse amidst one of the greatest real estate booms in history and how your money was used to purchase Jay Morrison's personal residence and the surrounding 27 acres, as well as to line his pockets through management fees and questionable deals with his other companies. And 5. Clearly state what actions you would like the authorities, the SEC or DA, to take, given that the fund remains very little assets to recoup. I'll pause for a second so you can take a screenshot of this, and I encourage you to record your video as soon as this presentation is over while it is top of mind.
So you hear what he say, man. I'm gonna break it down for you. Okay. For those of y'all who may not be hip to the lingo and what he was saying, basically, $11 million was raised, a little over $11 million. So that's a great effort. However, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to, you know, the SEC, the people who look after this type of shit, 11 million is nothing to them. So it's small beans when it comes to a real investigation happening because there's nothing, no assets really to go after. However, let's look at it from the level of the people in which he got this money from. This is why you got to call this out, because it's predatory. You feel me? It's no different than anytime that your marketing is based off of people's emotions and, you know, you want to profit off of that. You know, you got to look at the messenger and the message. You got to put that shit under scrutiny. You feel me? Because they're using the media to be able to capture your emotions and get the common everyday person to put up some money. This was Jay Morrison marketing strategy, right? So now he had people believing. Clearly, they believed if he raised $11 million. Now, when after he raised this $11 million, people are looking for the return because he did this in 2018. One of the biggest real estate booms was during the pandemic. So any average investor could have flipped that much money. And he was talking in a certain way that made people believe that he could accomplish this, right? But I got the gift of gab. So don't listen, you know, you ain't gotta take my word for it. I'm gonna bring up a couple clips from the past, tie it all together. And I know y'all wondering what this got to do with BLM too. Just trust me. Put your seatbelt on. We're gonna keep chopping it up. Your homeboy with the news, I got you. So first, let's take it back to Buddy history. Let's show you how his marketing came out when he first got started. All right.
Tulsa Real Estate Fund. They say if you build it, they will come. Well, our time is here. We've built the economic vehicle for the revitalization of the urban community. A transparent and regulated fund built on the mission to stop gentrification, to allow us to pool our resources, our talents, and treasure together, to rebuild our communities, to support one another, to share in the risk, to share in the profit, to share in the legacy of the 21st century Black Wall Street and this 21st century real estate fund for us and by us. This is the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Join us.
You heard that? For us, by us. That's how they get you right there. We doing this for the culture. We trying to get everybody involved. We want the hood. We want this, that, and the third. Whole time they just really looking for people who ain't gonna ask too many questions because they were intimidated by these type of. This has never been done. They keep iterating toward the first, African, Black, the struggle. You feel me? Oppression. He using all of these terms in there because he's using stuff that actually happened. But now he attributing that to what he about to offer with his business model. This wasn't no coincidence, right? Because he ain't the only one that do it. This is how it tie into BLM, but we're gonna get to that later. So now you've seen his initial video. What he got? That's the basic lifestyle marketing. You know, I ain't mad at him. You got to play the game to get to the people. You feel me? I rock my chain because I let them know. Just because we talking education, that don't change where I'm from or how I'm coming. You see what I'm saying? We don't got to look a certain way to care and be educated. That's why I'm bringing the news in the way that I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the party. So check this out. You seen what he was starting to do. And then he gonna double down, right? Because he went on his campaign after this drop. He went to had all kind of so-called smart people like Boyce Watkins and them, all them nut ass niggas, right? So listen to what he was saying in the beginning, how his plan and what he wanted to do, right?
Or how is the fund selecting properties? How are properties or projects or development? What makes us select the right one that we think is going to be the right one?
So outside of my 12 years of experience in real estate development, I've managed 2 mortgage companies. I've been a realtor from the streets of Newark, New Jersey, all the way to the richest town in America, Alpine, New Jersey, as a celebrity realtor, first African man in America hired by Prominent Properties, Sotheby's Realty. And so I use all my years of experience in building businesses and understanding real estate and prowess to make sure that we're vetting deals properly. But I'm smart enough to know I don't know everything. And so what we're doing is partnering with very talented, experienced folks like yourself, Candace Owens, other developers, investors, and specialists throughout the country to do what they do best, and where Tulsa Fund could be a support system for our community developers and investors. I'm not looking to be the largest real estate developer in the country, not even on my top 10 of my aspiration list. My goal is to be the best fund manager, the best fiduciary and steward of this fund, and to be able to galvanize our people to have an economic vehicle, utilize it with integrity and responsibly, and give us something we never had. And then go to Ramon and say, all right, and we're building out this massive advisory team and advisory board. So Ramon's specialty is apartment buildings or flips. We want you to head and be the voice of reason on that. If Chantel can do tax liens, and we want her to spearhead the tax lien division. If there's someone, I just talked to David Anderson, who has some experience in hospitality and lodging and hotel space. We want you to do that. And if your niche is Atlanta, and we want to focus on your expertise for Atlanta. If you're in Detroit or Chicago or New Orleans or LA or Newark, New Jersey, and you have a resume and a track record and a heart and mind for the people, then we want to invite you in to be an expert, an advisory board member, or a vetting team member with us. And so we're going to use, we have an acquisitions team, we have an underwriting team, and we have a portfolio management team. All these things will help to protect our investment and make sure that, and I understand people's concerns with their investments. We have to all understand we all have investment in this. I myself, outside of being the manager, have invested $10,000 into the actual fund, right? Through the J. Morrison Academy. Our company's invested $10,000.
Niggas, the top 5 lister, double S drifter, separate sipping, and you know I came with it if she cute with it.
So what we really saying? Hold on, let me get right. So you heard what he said. All right. He doing it for the culture, for the people. This ain't something that we putting on him to say he was trying to conjure this up. Nah, this is the spirit he wanted people in. He was going to the churches. He was basically out here preaching. Like I said, he got the gift of gab. It sounds like a good plan, right? He said he want to trust his fiduciary responsibility. He's saying all the right things to the common person, right? But that was the bait. That was the bait to get you in, and he did a good job. I ain't gonna lie. 11 million for a small time startup fund, that ain't bad. But bro just really straight up dropped the ball, and it's unexplained. You know, there's no way to explain what happened. You end up buying your own crib on a whole bunch of land, right? The only asset you really ever bought is up for sale now, and you couldn't make it pop in the A. You couldn't get it rented out consistently to make no money. That don't make no sense, bro. So what was you and the team really doing on the job? And it's not to blame the people that supported it, because it was a good cause. And it shows that we can do those type of things, right? But people lose their trust when you're dealing with somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? And this was the whole play. Now, this is how I tie to BLM. Now, remember, this movement came out of nowhere. It was not the original people who was so-called started this. It was a whole new co-op, right? But they did the same thing, but they was just ambulance chasing, right? Whenever something bad happened, that's when they show up. So this was their way to go after the emotion, because there's multiple ways to do this. This is why we got to understand what's coming through this media. Remember, BLM came out of nowhere. Next thing you know, it's on the NBA courts. All the people got to talk about it. It was the biggest thing ever, but I ain't never seen it in my city. You ever seen them in yours? What was they doing to actually do for the community besides being attached to some big controversial crime between police, black folk? You feel me? It just don't make no sense. All these riots that wasn't really people from the communities, this is all a play. And then you know what happened. That's old news with BLM, but it was a few of us who was already talking well before I was doing the news. I've been talking this way. You see what I'm saying? Because realizing what's what. But I want y'all to listen to the video for those of y'all who never checked it out. Candace Owens, you got to call a spade a spade. She did a good research into BLM, but a lot of the documents, since this was government affiliated, was already available. All you got to do is go look. right? So let's play what she said, just a reminder to everybody, and we'll come back, chop up our thoughts, and we out of here. All right, so hold on.
Not really my birthday, but it feels like a birthday. I feel like I should be receiving presents and that somebody should be making me a cake because of this little update on Black Lives Matter. My friends, guess what? They are headed for insolvency after plunging $8.5 million into the red. Wow, what? How didn't they collect $90 million following the George Floyd? Who was it that was saying that it was a scam? I don't remember. Who was the girl that was saying that BLM was definitely a scam?
That I don't support the Black Lives Matter movement whatsoever because the Black Lives Matter movement does not support me. I think that a better title for that movement would be Black Deaths Matter. They seem to protest, they seem to rage, and they seem to ruin, and they seem to support violence when a black person dies. What about when a black person lives? There are tons of black people that are trying to better themselves in their community. There are tons of black people that are disadvantaged by the homes that they are born into and just not having money. These groups do not fund them. They will pay for somebody's funeral, but they will not pay for somebody's college education.
You say Black Lives Matter is what?
Is a political arm for the Democratic Party.
That has been co-opted.
Correct.
Patrisse Cullors continues to lie. Black Lives Matter continues to lie. $90 million, of which $21 million apparently went to, according to Black Lives Matter themselves, it went to building the black movement. Like, I don't even know what that means. $25 million going to building a black movement. Apparently, the black movement was Patrisse moving herself, a black woman moving herself into other areas of the communities of people that she claims are oppressing black Americans. She's fearful of white people. White people are so bad. Well, why doesn't she want to live amongst black people? Oh my God, it was me. It was actually me. I was saying that for years. And I got called an Uncle Tom. I got called a coon. I got called all sorts of things. I got called a bed wench. I got called someone that was tap dancing for the white man. And I think what they were really looking for was the phrase that Candace is more intelligent than me and wasn't going to fall for another race hustle. Because
marketplace, redeveloping your community, gentrifying it, kicking you out, and they're giving you back 4%. And you're happy with that. But then your brother comes along with the vehicle that's owned by us for us, allowing you to get ownership in the vehicle, giving you back an 8% preferred return, and splitting the profits with you. And then you say, well, why should I do that? As we re-rise our community. But then you'll go take the same, mind you, in Tulsa, you must buy at least 10 shares. It's $50 per share. So that's a $500 investment, minimum investment to be an owner, right? And so
So you see what it is. Same game, man, no woman, it don't matter. The lady that was in charge, Patrisse Cullors, and the whole crew, she was buying cribs, right? Next thing you know, she out the game, living a different life, making money off the media. Same thing with that boy, Jay Morris. He probably gonna be a pastor. Look out for him now. Tulsa Church or something coming soon. You feel me? This is what he gonna do. She done went off. She done went to the whole, such and such community. You feel me? Writing books. Though she finna be rich just off she in the network now. But I thought it was all about the movement. Why they always use the movement when they want to make some money? Ain't nothing wrong with making some money, but don't attach it to your so-called movement. That's the number one way that you can peep it. If you want to support, people do need support when you do certain things, but it shouldn't fund your lifestyle. This is where the problem come in. This is from another, we coming from the party making the same statement. We ain't looking to be funded in our life, but anybody that support the business ventures that we put out, we definitely appreciate it. Hey, so with that being said, it's your homeboy with the news, back with another episode. I'm out of here till next time. Y'all keep it positive, keep it pushing, and I'll catch you on the next one, y'all. Peace.
Like, oh, like, oh, like, oh.
can't get it back, can't get it back. I won't get it back, I won't get it back. Gave all the love I had. One motherfucking 3, nigga. I can't get it back, I can't get it back. I won't get it back, can't get it back. This is all the love I had, love I had. Can't get it back, can't get it back. I won't get it back.